Good evening, class. This is Altaviz Hyman, and I will be discussing our Module 6 assignment dealing with ethical violations and board discipline. So, I'm in the state of Virginia, and so bear with me. I will be looking at my laptop and also looking at my notes that I took. So, in the state of Virginia, I've reported that it says that the most ethical violations in my state of Virginia that counselors continue to violate often is the code 18 VAC 115-20-130, which is a standard of practice. Under this code, counselors are said to have dual sexual relationships with clients and non-sexual relationships outside of treatment services. And that is also from ACA Code of Ethics 2014. Under this code, counselors also are billing services with clients that did not occur, and that comes from Virginia State Board of Counseling 2019. The counselor poor decision making has caused the common violations of sexual misconduct. This is an evident reason of the importance of self-care, self-love, and having those relationships with close family and friends. So the scenario that I will be discussing is a recent case of a QMHP who was employed at a psychiatric center, and there was a client there that entered treatment for inpatient due to suicidal ideation following a breakup with his romantic partner. So during his time, he was approximately at the psychiatric center for about 10 days. When he was discharged, he was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, severe reoccurrent without psychotic features, and alcohol abuse. During his 10-day stay at the psychiatric center, before he was diagnosed, the QMHP did, her regular routine visits, counseling sessions, checks on him to make sure that he was safe. Of course, I don't know if any of you have worked in a center with patients who are suicidal. You have to conduct 15-minute checks, and they have to be staggered. So upon one of her checks, the client expressed his interest in her. And they met after that, a day later, after he expressed his interest in the QMHP, they met in the hallway of the facility, and they exchanged phone numbers. He texted her one time, and nothing occurred after that. Once he was discharged, that's when their actual relationship began. They began sharing personal information and details about their personal life. They engaged in flirtatious behavior. Days later, they met at a public place. And then that's when they actually really began their relationship. They were sending sexual pictures. He was staying at the worker's house. One day before he started staying there, or, having spend the night visits, he bought some wine and hard liquor with him despite his alcohol diagnosis. So they continued their relationship for some time. And about a month later, so after they continued their relationship, the QMHP, broke their relationship off. I guess she said she couldn't see him no more. And they discontinued their relationship. So fast forward a month later, the client re-entered treatment due to another suicidal ideation. When he was being questioned and during his intake process of his relapse of treatment and, what happened, he had informed the facility and the workers that he was back for treatment due to the QMHP breaking their relationship off. Therefore, again, he was saddened by the relationship that entered. So, because of this unethical decision that the QMHP made in entering a sexual relationship with a client, she was placed on suspension and indefinite probation. but she is able to have her license reinstated. However, the recommendation order and that the Board of Virginia must follow states that she may request that the board terminate her probation after 18 months. So she has to stay on probation at least 18 months before she can request that her probation be terminated. At that time, she can petition the board for reinstatement of her licensure, at which it would be determined if she has maintained compliance during that 18 months and whether she is safe to return to independent practice and that she will not cause harm or any potential threat to any further clients that she engages in. She was also, after that order was put in place, she was also ordered to seek mental health counseling of her own within 40 days of the recommendation order. Once she has solidified or selected a therapist of her choice, she has to submit her request to the Virginia Board of Counseling, and they have to approve her request for that therapist. If she feels that her services with that counselor are not working, the therapeutic relationship is not beneficial for her, before she can change to another therapist, she also has to get clearance from Virginia State Board. She has to submit another request to the Virginia State Board. And during her time in treatment therapy, the therapist has to submit often written reports of her progress, of her mental status, just making sure that she is capable of rendering further services to future clients. Also, it states that what does Virginia say about counseling parents? So according to Virginia, according to the ACA, they pretty much are consistent with each other. Impairment is the inability to practice in congruence with professionally defined and accepted standards of care, and that's ACA Code of Ethics 2014. Ethical codes of counselors and psychologists mandate that professional practice with the highest level of care and obtain supervision or intervention when there are concerns and difficulties that interfere with meeting the standards set by the codes, ACA. As a counselor's impairment can create poor decision making, it can also lead to issues causing unethical misconduct and the end result of the state board to make decisions based upon the revocation of counselor licensure to continue providing counseling services to clients. So that was my scenario and my report on ethical violations and board discipline in my state of Virginia. Thank you.